The first way we're going to learn to deploy our website is to a service called Now, and Now is from a company called Zeit, and they do a lot of both open source work as well as a lot of stuff in the React community. They have a framework called Next.js, which is pretty neat. So we're going to get up and running, and it's actually very, very straightforward. Now requires you to bring the server. So it doesn't have a server built in. You have to bring the server that's going to handle all of the server-side routing for us. And they have a package themselves. It's called Serve. So what we want to do is go over to our command line here, and we're going to npm install. Actually, first we have to install globally the command line tool called Now. And what that will do is after it's installed, it will give us a command called Now on the command line. You can test if it worked by saying now-v. If you get any like permissions issues when trying to do this, sometimes Unix users need to put sudo in front of it. So sudo npm install -g now. But if you're having to do that, I'd take a quick look at how you can fix that. Then we need to install a local dependency to our project called serve. So npm install serve. There's no -g or anything there. And what that will do is it's going to add it to our list of dependencies that are needed for our application to run. There we go. Serve is on. Then we need to modify our npm scripts here because the start command is for development, but now we need to give it a different command to run that when we go into production. So maybe what we can do is we can change this to dev. Then when you want to now run this locally, you have to run npm run dev. So no longer npm start to run it locally. It's going to be npm run dev. And then we're going to make our own start command that is going to contain the serve. So we're going to run serve --single. That's a command that tells it to run a single page application. And we're going to tell it to go into the build folder. Give that a save. Now, two things are going to happen when we deploy this. It's first going to run build. It knows to run that and create a build directory. And then second, it's going to run the start command, which should serve up the build folder. So all we need to do now is type in Now and hit enter. If this is your first time ever using Now, it's going to ask you for your email address and then email you a confirmation link, and you're automatically signed in. It's pretty neat. Then you run Now, and what it's going to do is it's going to start deploying it and give us a temporary URL, which we can use to view our application. So it should copy it to our clipboard in just a second. There we go. You see it gives us this temporary URL right here. I'll talk about aliases in just a second. Now, if we go and visit that, you can see sort of what it's trying to do. So it synced all the data. Now it's preparing the container. And now it's doing an npm install for us. You can kind of see exactly what it's doing. So it's looking in our package.json file. It's installing all of our dependencies, and this time might take a minute or so. You see now it's running npm run build. It's running the command React scripts build, which is what it does in turn. See, that's the command that it runs. And then once that has finished, we'll have a directory called build. And now it's running npm start, which is running the serve command, and then it says it's running on port 5000, but it will pipe it to port 443, which is what HTTPS runs on. And there we go. Now we have our application up and running. I want to visit a actual store. Now, the real test here is if I refresh it, this URL should still work because that serve is handling it. So refresh, beautiful. It's working just as we wanted. I can still click back, refresh, go to another store, and all of our login, everything will work. So that's it. It's very, very simple to get up and running. If you wanted to redeploy it, you simply type Now. The one thing is that it's going to give you a unique URL for every single deployment. If we head on over to the Now docs, you see that it also has the ability to add aliases such as cool. And what that will do is it will always give you the same URL. You can also alias it if you have a paid plan to specific domain names so that, for example, the syntax.fm website is hosted on now.sh. And every single time that we deploy it, we then alias over the current deploy to syntax.fm. And that's great because it does a instant cutover, and there's never any downtime on our website while we're killing the old website, uploading and restarting the new website. Finally, if you are on the open source plan or the free plan, all of your files will be open to the world. So you can visit the _source file, and this is not on my website, but if I were to show you something like this, if you were to visit _src, that should show you all of the URLs. And actually, I'm logged in, so it's going to show me everything here. And you can actually see the code behind all of the website. So I think that's pretty neat, but it's also something to know that you shouldn't assume it's client side anyway. So people are going to be able to see all of your code, but make sure that you don't have any sort of secrets in there from your login. So that is Now to SH. Big fan of it, being able to use that to serve it up. Let's get into some other examples.